And we are live. What's good, Josh and Mandel Saint? What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? Sorry, I am 5 minutes late. Y'all know I don't like to be late. Welcome to I Really Want to Know podcast. I was I was reading something and I looked at the wrong clock. I was reading something, yo, and yeah, I looked at the wrong clock. Sorry about that, y'all. Um, yeah, we're gonna talk about marriage, y'all. We're gonna talk about marriage. I Fresh and Fit had a good episode a couple days ago, and they were talking about marriage. They brought on the Pratt attorneys, and they're both married. They've been on the platform as long as I've been watching them, and it was good to see them. I haven't seen them in a while, and I was actually wondering what happened to them. Like, man, what happened to them? And they did an episode yesterday or the day before, day before yesterday. It was on Monday. Very good episode doing the early show. I always watch the early shows, not so much on the late night shows, although Monday nights after hours got kind of spicy. It got kind of spicy. It was fight night up in that piece. Shout out to Icy and Xena holding it down, doing what they do. Whew. Them girls got hands. Let's put it to you like that. Them girls got hands. Um, but the daytime episode I thought was really good. They were talking about divorce, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about marriage and divorce, and I got some ideas on that. And this particular stream, I'm gonna have this conversation on this platform later tonight. I'm gonna be on Black Man Unfiltered. I'm gonna be on their panel, Black Man Unfiltered Network on YouTube, and it's the unapologetic with Mandrill and Shushu. I'm gonna be on that panel, and we're gonna be talking about marriage. So it's gonna be kind of a continuation. That's gonna be, I think, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I think that's when they go. They go at either 9 or 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So it's like 8 or 9 o'clock Central Time. But I'm gonna be over there, and it's gonna be an extension of what we're seeing right here, just so you guys know. But yeah, a lot of people, a lot of young guys. I keep saying young guys because I'm getting up there in age, but I got a lot of brothers come up to me, and this question comes up: should I get married? Would you get married? What are your thoughts on marriage? And I pretty much say no, don't do it. It just, and then when they really pick my brain about it, we look into it. I'll say, all right, look, here's the deal. If you don't have nothing, if you're a brokey, you out there just doing your thing, and you're giving her the joystick, and she loves it, and she wants to marry you, and she has a home, she has property, she has money, and she's gonna let you in her house. Go ahead, by all means, get married. If you ain't got nothing, get married. But if you have things, right? If you have properties, if you're making good money, that sort of stuff, I would definitely give it thought. Getting married to the government is just not a good idea. We're gonna watch some of this video with the attorneys who are talking about it. And these two attorneys, they practice in Florida, so when they're talking about Florida law in particular. They don't speak on these other places, but yeah, it's it's very eye-opening, this what we're about to react to. Sister Candace is in the house. What's good, love? Good to see you. Always a pleasure to see you. So glad you popped in. I saw you working hard Monday night in the mod. Like I said, the monster mod. We got Sister Candace, legendary moderator, Fresh and Fit podcast, over here rocking with us at day one. I'm so honored to have you, girl. Hope all is well. Hope you and your husband are doing fine. So yeah, we're talking about this. Yo, I tell guys, like, don't get married. Definitely don't get married in America. Like, don't get married in the Western world. Maybe get married in Spain. Y'all see what's going on in Spain. You know what I mean, with the soccer guy and his wife. So they touch on that a little bit on this in this episode. We're gonna watch a little bit. It just seems to me that it's such a legal landmine, minefield, a legal minefield out there when you get married in America. Depending on how old you are and where you are with your career and stuff like that, man, it might not be worth it. Men and women. Women, I'm talking to y'all too. Y'all are out earning men right now. Y'all beginning to out earn men, and the trend is showing you guys going to continue to out earn men. You're in school, graduating in higher numbers than men. You're making more money. Y'all might want to listen to this, right? Because the way the system works, it tends to wreck the higher earner. Just keeping it 100. So at least that's how I see it. If you guys see it a different way, please let me know. But I tell these young guys, I don't know. I don't know about getting married. Definitely know what state you're in, know the laws of that state, do your research. And then if you do decide to get married, you're definitely going to want to get a prenuptial agreement if you have something. If you're broken and you don't have nothing, but you're ambitious and then you know you're about to come into something, you might want to do, I think they called it a post nuptial, where you know you guys put in writing how it's going to work if if you guys decide to split. So while things are good, you get in writing, notarized, and done with the help of an attorney, exactly what's going to happen, who gets what, the percentages, the breakdowns, all that. So yeah, like this topic, I'm telling you, people, me and Jay Swans were just talking about this, and maybe it's just too easy to get married. We know it's easy to get divorced. There's so much going on with this. So much going on with this. So we're gonna get into it. And then like the title says, I mean, should we as a society, should we have marriage terms? Should we do contracts with terms on it? So you can go in and get married for, I don't know, 2 years, maybe 4 years, 6, 8, 10 year. Like that's what you sign for. Your marriage license right off rip. You're signing on for X amount of years. Like, all right, let's get married. Let's do 4 years. Do a 4-year contract. And everyone knows at the end of 4 years, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna walk away with. This is how it works. And if you want to stay married, you simply do another term, do another enlistment. You know what I mean? Something like that. I just said, you know what I mean? Y'all know I'm supposed to be stopping that. Wouldn't that be something? There was a mini series back in the late 80s, early 90s. It was called Earth 2. Sci-fi, whatever. It's on YouTube. You guys can find it. It was what it was. But one of the sub stories, one of the subplots in that series was, in that world from the original Earth, they had these marriage terms. So you get married for X amount of time. The contract included a timeline, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, whatever it was. So it was one of the subplots. So there was a couple who was married and they came up on the end of their marriage contract. And then, of course, they decided, we want to do it like they did in the olden days and let's just get married forever. And they did that. But I was like, I never forgot about that. I'm like, maybe they were onto something. That was back in the late 80s, early 90s, Earth 2. We got Last Good Man in Jersey in the house. What's good, fam? How you feeling? Sister Candace, are people going to premarital counseling with their pastor or other entities? No, they're not. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. They're going to Vegas to the drive-through wedding. Like I don't believe that people are doing that. And maybe they are, and they're just not being, honest. I think it should be tougher to get married. It should be difficult. And I got some ideas that I wrote down, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But no, I think people are getting. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think a lot of young women and men, they get into the emotions. They fall in love. It's the whole Disney fairy tale. And like I've said this before, and I'll say it again, I believe that most women just want a wedding. They don't necessarily want to be married. And I think the guys are just doing what they believe they're supposed to do and paying for this wedding or whatever. They go into debt, they pay for this wedding, and most times they get divorced before they've even paid off all the original wedding. Spending all this money, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 and up on a wedding day. I think that's ridiculous. I honestly don't believe. How can you be going to counseling if and the counselor is telling you, like, yeah, have a extremely expensive marriage wedding and y'all don't even have any money? Like, you don't even own a house and you're going out here spending $80,000 on a wedding. They can't be talking to anybody. That can't make any sense. Or they're not listening to what they're being told. So, that's my answer to that, sis. I believe that, yeah, if they are talking to people, if they are doing premarital counseling, they're not listening, or the counselors are trash, one or the other. So let's pull up the Fresh and Fit show. Like I said, shout out to Myron and Fresh. They're doing big things over there, as always. It is just good watching them get down. I go back and I watch their original stuff all the way back to Unplugged Fit, when Myron was just doing his fitness stuff, right when they first met, and Fresh was doing his prank videos. I go all the way back there and I watch the beginning. And I suggest folks do that. You know, if you want to see how much work these dudes have put in and how far they have gone, I mean, it's all documented right there. That's before they had the studio. They were doing this. They were doing StreamYard, split screen. And then I guess they decided to make a studio. Myron invested and then made the studio. The rest is history. So shout out to them for putting in the work and doing what they do. So here it is right here. You know, you have the two attorneys who've been around since the beginning. These two, they're married. They have prenuptials and they have all the paperwork in you know, with their personal life. They said it on the air. They're like, yeah, congratulations to them. They just had a baby. You know, they have the family going on. They've been practicing law. They're doing really well. So they were talking about the five top things, the top five mistakes that people make once they get married. The top five mistakes they make while married. And it has everything to do with money and resources and all sorts of stuff. So let's check it out. Let's listen. Let's give it a listen.
20 and up. We'll read the ones that came up before, but from now on 20 and up, we'll go ahead and continue. Sorry, John.
We're gonna give you top 5 things that, like, basically how we titled it was like top 5 ways people convert non-marital into marital,
or top 5 mistakes that people
right.
make.
So like, don't make these mistakes. Right?
Okay.
And they all sort of overlap. So if you hear us sort of saying the same thing over and over again, bear with us, but it's sort of overlap. And in no particular order of importance. Just number 1, commingling.
Okay.
And so, for example.
So right off rip, they're talking about mistakes in being married. So a lot of people, I think, make the mistake that they think they get married and everything is all good. It's a business arrangement. Then it has 3 parties involved. It's the husband, it's the wife, and it's the government. I think a lot of people overlook the fact that the government's involved in this. So I would encourage you to look up case law, look up what's going on, know these things going in, and see where you fall on the spectrum. Who is the government going to protect? And how do you do that? You just kind of go out there, look at case law, go out there and look at what, you know, the free advice that people give you out there. Shows like this, when they bring attorneys on, how to keep certain assets and monies away from the monies of the marriage. Man, it's crazy the stuff that they were putting out here. I had no idea, but let's continue.
Mixing old pre-marriage money, right, commingling, with new post-marriage money made during the marriage.
Okay.
Dan, if you want to expand on that.
Sure. I mean, look, we're going to talk about prenups, and prenups basically protect what you have either prior to the marriage and earned during the marriage. But point being, if you have like a non-marital bank account and then you get married, if you take that non-marital money and put it into a marital account, in a joint account, commingling it, the non-marital money that you had loses its non-marital nature. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways to commingle. But point being, when you take your non-marital funds and you mix them with marital funds, think of it as, imagine you've got a bag of rice. Yeah. And you grab a handful of grains. Yeah. And then you throw it back in. Well, get me those grains of rice back. You can't, because it's fungible. So, you know, when you're mixing money, like, look, there could be a carve out. Like, let's just say, for example, you sell a real property, you get $500,000, it goes to a joint account for 10 seconds until you move it into your non-marital account. Something like that for 10, like that, you might be able to get away with. Okay. But imagine you leave that money in there for a year, and then you deposit your paychecks, and it gets all confuddled and commingled. Then it's gone.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I get married to a.
So right off rip, my takeaway from this sort of content, these sort of shows, is you have to be prepared for the failure, which is crazy. I think it goes against what most people think when they get married. But again, this is a business. This is a business. And if you're not careful, you may get wrecked. So, I mean, it is what it is. Sister Candace, the most important G should be God, not the government. It should be that way. But, you know, nowadays, that most people don't believe in God. They believe in the government because the government's in their pockets. I hear you, sis. And I'm pretty sure your marriage works. Not pretty sure. I know your marriage works because you guys have your priorities set. Everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone knows their role. And it's a golden thing. But that's not the case these days. I mean, we all know what the marriage rates are. And if you don't, I have some information that I'm going to share during this podcast. We can look at the rates of what's going on with marriage. Some of the information, some of the numbers might surprise you.
girl, which would be stupid of me. But let's say I do hypothetically for sake's argument, right?
Can't wait to be a guest at that wedding.
I get married. I have $100,000 in a bank account that just by myself. As soon as if I ever make the mistake of putting that into an account where I have a joint account with my girl, now that is up for grabs essentially if we divorce.
You may have made a gift of your non-marital funds to the marriage, so it's still half yours, but now it's half hers.
Exactly. Okay.
So I would say the number one thing there is for anyone listening, man or woman, prior to getting married, have and keep your own premarital bank account.
Okay.
Your own checking, your own savings that never commingles, intermixes with your new marital account. Hell, it could be the same bank. It could be Chase, it could be Wells Fargo. It doesn't matter. But just don't be no.
Where should
Separate.
they send their new money? Let's say they get a new job now, right? And they're married though. Should they be sending their money to that joint account or continue to send it to their single person account?
Which money? Your income?
The new money.
The new money after they've been married.
Well, but then it's without a prenup. That money that you're earning during the marriage is marital. Let me bring up one point though, because it doesn't have to be.
So you see how convoluted it gets right off rip. Byron is saying, well, what if, I get married and then the new money? Well, he's talking about the money he was making prior to marriage. Once I get married, what happens to that money? And what the attorney is about to say is like, once you get married, that's all y'all money, which is crazy. It's like, well, you said it was another account. Well, that account was for maybe another business. Maybe you're getting money from some real estate holdings you have or some stocks or whatever. It's crazy. So like once you get married, it's like, all right, now that's joint earnings because you earned it while y'all were married. Wow. And I think that's what he's saying. And I'm following this can be kind of difficult. Like you're listening and it's like, whoa. And they have to really explain what's going on. Again, I was under the impression, the way I was brought up, if you got married, that's your wife, that's your right hand, that's your better half. Why would you have separate accounts? Why wouldn't y'all be tied into everything together? And the answer is because most people get, not most, 50% of people get divorced. Half of people get divorced. So for the other half, maybe they're good mixing everything together. But one half is like, nah, keep your options open because this is probably not going to work. Crazy stuff. Last good man in Jersey. I did a vid about this. Oh, cool. As guys, we can get into trouble because we move our wife into our house and start paying the marital bills out of our existing checking accounts. That's commingled. Yes, that's commingled. And here's the thing. Like I said, if you when I talk to these guys and they're like, should I get married? I'm like, bro, if you are a brokey, if you are broke, you have nothing, and she has everything. Yeah, get married. Get married. You ain't got nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. That's my take on it. Now, if you get to a point where you got money, you've gotten yourself together, you guys are married, and now you're about to have a bunch of money coming in. That's when they're saying don't commingle that. That's what they're talking about. That's when you're gonna need a post-nuptial agreement. Like, all right, we're already married, but hey, let's do this agreement because you got some money coming in. You're about to be a millionaire. Well, let me go ahead and get this, etched in stone right now. But yeah, that's like last good man in Jersey. That's what's up, man. That's good advice. And yeah, man, link your video in the chat, man. I'll go check it out.
Old money for it to be non-marital. Like, let's say, for example, you have a parent that dies and you get an inheritance.
Okay.
During the marriage. That by statute is non-marital.
Gotcha.
So you put that in your separate account.
Okay.
But let's just say you make the mistake that, hey, I got the inheritance, I'll put it in my joint account. I keep you mix it up, it's non-marital. Or it is marital. Yeah.
Why is it a mistake to share with your wife? You see what I mean? Why are people getting married if this is how we have to protect ourselves? Why are people getting married? This is what I'm talking about. I don't see the reason for getting married legally. Why get married to the government? Why even deal with all this? I don't understand.
Yeah, so you messed up. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
We had a client who got an inheritance, and their father left them a lot of money. It was actually a woman, left her a lot of money. And what she did with the money was she went down to South America and she bought a bunch of property with the money. But you would think like, that's really smart, good for her, like investment properties to rent out, Airbnb, whatever.
Yeah.
Where it was like, she got this inheritance money, which by statute is not her spouse's, right? She went ahead and bought these properties still not her spouse's. She put her husband's name on the property.
Oh,
So
wow.
when she you remember
City
that
boys, we
when-
about to be up.
Again, why is that stupid? That's what I mean. Like if this is how if this is how we need to move going forward, then don't get married. Don't get married. Just don't do it. Understand if you're living in a state that recognizes what's that? The common law marriage thing. Understand that rule. Well, what is it? How many days can she be over here consecutively before we consider married? You know what I mean? Again, you want to, if this is what we're doing, then you should be protecting yourself at all times. You shouldn't just like, well, I'm gonna protect myself at all times until I get married. That's what I thought it was, but it seems that that's not the case anymore. And of course, these are all individual things, bro. Look, I don't know. You know what I mean? Last good man in Jersey. I'll drop it in the comments afterwards. Don't want to hijack your show. It's all good, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Drop it in the comments below after, you know what I mean, so people can check it out. I definitely want to see it there so I can come check you out, man. You always support me. I want to definitely support you.
Freak property.
when she did that, she converted this inheritance non-marital asset into marital. And when she came to us, she said, I need to, that can't happen. What can I do? And she actually hired us for a postnuptial agreement.
Okay.
And he signed.
Oh, wow.
I guess between them, she had been clear. I don't know the specifics of why she put it under his name. Maybe it was a credit issue. Maybe it was a foreign national issue. I don't know. But the point is, she went down to the South American country, laid out thousands and thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds, bought a bunch of properties, all in his name. I said, honey, those are all have his now.
Yeah.
And she said, no, that's not what I said, if he divorces you tomorrow, yes, it is. So we did a postnup where we made it very clear. Dan made a postnup. We made it very clear that these properties, despite being in whatever's name, Mama, Pepe, Jose,
It's
whatever,
hers.
they were hers and they were considered
Look,
non-marital.
but
And again, why was she upset about it? No, this is mine. This is what we agreed to. And it seems like the husband in this particular case was like, oh, yeah, it's cool. This is what I told her. He gave his word. Sounds like a stand-up guy. But how many men and women in America are stand-up people these days? That's another thing we gotta think about. There's so many people who want something for nothing these days. There's so many people who are looking for handouts and they're looking to get over on people. They're looking to hurt other people. So again, this is when vetting someone becomes a real thing. And it's like what Sister Candace was saying. This is when you need to, do your premarital counseling, get other people involved, maybe the church, get your family involved, get the people in your circle that you trust involved. Make sure that you vet this person. Make sure she's vetting you. Make sure y'all understand what's going on. But I mean, I guess if I'm looking at signing prenuptials and all that, if I'm going to do a prenuptial agreement going into the situation, I don't need to marry this person. I don't, and if she's like, well, I want a ring, I'll buy you a ring, but we ain't getting married. Here's your ring. We can tell folks we married. We can get married. We can go put our feet in the water and stand under the universe and make promises to each other. Why we got to bring the government involved? And if you want the government involved, you want that piece of paper, that license, that certificate or whatever, then now you ain't going to get that from me. Because in order for me to do that, then I got to go do all this other stuff to protect myself. And if I don't protect myself, I'm being foolish. And if I have a lot to put on the line, if I have a lot of resources and money and all this other kind of stuff, why would I want to give that up? But I guess the argument to that is, well, if you vetted her and she's never going to leave you, you see what I mean? But it's so easy to walk away. So no, I wouldn't do it. Sister Candace, people aren't getting married well-intentioned or well-informed. You're right. You're absolutely right, sis. Absolutely right.
at that point, they weren't adversarial.
Yeah.
Because they're still married. And quite frankly, he knew it wasn't, they weren't his.
Yeah.
But point being, we insulated our client from exposure.
Yes.
And really, that's
It was a
99% of
weak
my
point.
job.
Yeah.
When I'm representing someone with money, my job is minimizing their exposure.
Bam.
Sometimes it'll be like, I want to win. I'm like, divorce isn't about winning. There's just varying degrees of losing here, you know?
Ah.
They give it.
That right there was profound. What this attorney just said, and he's been practicing law for well over 20 plus years. It's like divorce isn't about winning. It's just varying degrees of losing. We're just trying to minimize the damage here. Why would you knowingly and willingly walk into that type of situation? That doesn't make any sense. 50% chance it won't work. 1 out of 2. 50% chance it won't work. Y'all, I was a paratrooper, y'all. Love jumping out of airplanes. But if you told me there was a 50% chance that the parachute is not going to deploy, I'm going to want to pack my own chute. Like if it's that much of a risk, I want to pack my own chute. That way, if it doesn't work, it's my fault. I'm not going to trust that to somebody else. That's how I look at it. As much as I love being airborne, as much as I loved every single jump, I loved it. But if it was a 50% chance that my parachute wasn't going to deploy, I want to pack that myself. Yeah, I'm not trusting you. Sorry, Mr. Rigger. And the people who pack the parachutes, that's actually a job in the Army. They're called riggers. They wear red hats. Sorry, Rigger. I'm going to pack my own parachute. 50% chance it won't work. That's crazy. Brother Knightis in the house. What's good, fam? All right. Ultimately, it's for some stay home. Yeah, Foxy Brown. It's like it's for some stay home. I mean, you can get that anyway. You can get some stay home and not get married. You know what I mean? I keep saying one. I'm working on it, y'all. I'm cutting down on. I'm cutting down on it. But it's hard. It's hard trying to stop using your catchphrase. And Brother Knightis is saying starting a business is worse. We do it anyway. Some of us do. That those who do start businesses, like I've started businesses, yeah, and it's hard to get them off the ground. You're gonna fail your first couple of attempts. You're gonna fail. So I guess what they're talking about is doing it properly. It's like, starting a business. If you start a business properly and it doesn't work, you can cut it off and it's not going to really hurt you that bad. There are laws out there to govern businesses. Maybe the prenup is that. Maybe the prenup is starting up the C Corp, starting up the S Corp, the LLC. Maybe that's what that is. You can, separate it from everything else and shut it down and then try it again, learn from your mistakes. But I don't know. I don't know, bro. I think that's it's not. That's not an apples to apples kind of thing. Saying being married, taking a risk is the same as being starting a business is the same as getting married, and it's the same type of risk. I don't know. I think the person with money gets wrecked. I don't know if that's necessarily the case with the business opportunity, the business venture. Maybe I'm gonna have to think on that a little bit, bro. I'm gonna have to think on that. Thanks for making me think, bro. Player, I'm gonna have to think on that. So let's continue.
We'll talk a little bit later about sometimes people try and set aside a prenuptial agreement.
Yeah.
And if you can get that done, there might be a pot of gold in the courtroom for you. But the rest of these cases, there's no pot of gold in the courtroom for you.
Wow. Okay.
Pot of gold.
And I think that's
There's
really
no windfall.
I think that's really important that you made that distinction, that it's not about winning. It's about taking the lowest level of risk and getting the hurt the least, because it's coming to some degree. It's about the varying degrees of losing money. So no, that's really good and I think like taking these steps early on is going to basically save you a lot of money in the end and headaches, because you're basically mitigating risk.
That's our biggest spiel with prenups. Like, I know a lot of folks argue and whatnot, but when I know we'll talk about it later, but to us it's for that reason.
Yeah.
It's the mitigating of the risk and having some sort of, I guess, vision of what to expect
Okay.
if
So
the divorce happens.
Is there any other method better than having a prenup, in your opinion?
Not getting married.
I was about to say.
Wait,
Good job! Trick question.
See, here's the thing. The reality is this. Let's be honest. A bunch of guys that are watching this are either A, married, or B, want to get married and have children in their family, have that nuclear family. Cool. Fantastic. We tell y'all, don't get married with the state. You guys are probably going to do it anyway. So here's how to do it with two experts that will mitigate your risk.
Pretty much.
Honestly speaking here. Right. So the number.
And that's a fact. I mean, at the end of the day, I see that you want to mitigate risk. But again, I'm kind of with Fresh on this. Like, well, why even do it? You want to mitigate risk. And there's so many different ways to do it. So, man, that's all. This is what it is. Last good man in Jersey. Starting a business, it's a marriage. Starting a marriage, you don't think it's a business, but it is. Know the business is a business. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, you get, it's, it goes all the way back to Sun Tzu, the Art of War, man. Know yourself, know your enemy. That's what it is. And you're about to, You got to get married. You better know both parties. Better know yourself. Better know the other party. You better know. And this is, again, you can get wrecked if you don't. Sister Candace, everything is a risk. But the discussion is about mitigating risk. We risk facing an accident by driving the car, but we wear a seatbelt and have airbags to protect ourselves in the worst case scenario. Yes, well put, sis. Well put. Brother Knightish, marriage is not love. It should be looked at as a business. Facts. And the love part is whatever. I can love somebody and not be married. I don't have to be married in order to love you. But there's so many people, like, the way is, mostly women, you know what I mean? Mostly. And again, I think women want the wedding day, not necessarily the marriage. And again, maybe there should be limits. Maybe, you know, when you go in to get that marriage, maybe you should be able to say, you know what, give me the 4-year marriage license, please. Give me that. And I would add to it to mitigate all this other stuff. I really believe it should be difficult to get married. Both parties should have to put major skin in the game. So here's one proposal. If you want to get married, you want to get that marriage certificate, there should be a $50,000 bond. Each party has to put up $25,000 in order to get married. You want to get married? Fine. It's a $50,000 bond. You have to put it in some sort of escrow account or something like that. 25 and 25, or if a simpleton wants to put up the whole 50, all right, great. Now, you know what? No, it should be 25 and 25. It should be split down to even, no wavering it. She has to come up with 25,000. He has to come up with 25,000. Period. Should be that way. Of course, you're gonna have simpletons. You know, the simpletons of the world. They're gonna be like, here, I'll sneak you your 20, your 25. You can put it in. But in the event that there's a divorce, the person who did not file the divorce gets the $50,000 at that point. And then maybe put a stipulation on it. Like if the marriage doesn't go over 10 years, if there's a divorce before 10 years, then that $50,000, that bond or that escrow, the person who did not file for divorce automatically gets the entire $50,000. And then the government can make money on the interest while it sits in the escrow account or whatever. And then after 10 years, the funds get released to the couple. Maybe something like that. So it's like hard to, like, okay, you want to get married, it's going to come, and make it $100,000. Each party has to come up with 50. If that means they go get loans or whatever, each party has to come up with 50. Maybe something like that will work. Make it tough. Make people like put skin in the game. And you know, like if I get divorced, I'm not getting that money. It's $100,000 out there. If I file for divorce, I'm not getting that $100,000. The other person, I file for divorce, the other person gets the $100,000. That may make you think. Just a thought. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Brother Knightish is like, yeah, I like it. Let's say, you know what I mean, police. What's good, man? Thank you. Hilarious. You gotta get, nah, you know what? You get better than that. You know what I mean, police. That, my friend, is and I'm glad you're here to police me. That is hilarious. You know what I mean, police. This is the you know what I mean, police. We receive an alert that someone is trying to say it too much. That would be me. Guilty. That would be me. Please stop. We'll comply. I will comply. Man, that's funny. That's funny. That's for you, bro. You know what I mean, police. Wow. Thank you. That's so funny. Last good man in Jersey. The core idea is dead on. People should not be rewarded for filing a divorce or for filing divorce. It should cost them something. Yeah, I think it should, bro. I think it should. Again, it's way too easy to get married. It's way too easy to get divorced. So, all right, you want to get married? Fine. We're going to keep it easy to get divorced on the back end. Fine. But it's going to be skin in the game up front. And this even protects the simpletons. Okay, baby, I'll put your half up. I'll put up $100,000 back. At least if she files for divorce, he gets his 100 grand back. You know, that's what I'm thinking. Police watching. I gotta watch what I say, y'all. You know what I mean? Police is watching. Wow. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We should do something like that.
Number one thing is to avoid co-mingling, which I think is really important. How you guys were explaining it, marital versus non-marital assets. What's the second thing?
So everything else we talk about is gonna all sort of still surround that commingling,
commingling,
right? So the
okay.
second one,
Yeah.
allowing and listen closely because this happens often. Okay,
Uh-huh.
allowing your spouse to contribute towards maintaining or fixing a non-marital asset.
Damn.
For example, allowing your spouse to pay or contribute towards the mortgage of your non-marital asset property, or allowing your spouse to remodel the non-marital property, helping to improve it and increase in value. And we have several examples on this one. But
do you see how difficult this is? This becomes so much work. Why get married? If this is the way to mitigate risk, why take on the initial risk to begin with? Wow, I can't help my wife if my wife is doing well with her businesses and then there's some sort of downturn like now. Let's say my wife was in commercial real estate and then bam, oh my goodness, there's a commercial real estate crash and she has to scramble and she's struggling to maintain the business. I can't just pay her mortgage on some of her real estate on her residential properties just to help her out. I mean, I can, but if I do that, now it's commingled. Now she's faced with, I got half of those properties now, even though she built that business up long before she met me. That's crazy. It's like, well, if I want to give you this money, we have to do it through some other sort of means, or we have to set up the agreement, write it in stone. It's a loan. I'm loaning you this money. You have to pay it back. Man, it's just a lot of work. Sounds like a lot of work. A lot of work. Sister Candace was saying the information they provided was absolutely invaluable. Yeah, for those who are going to get married, you need to watch this video a few times, like a few times. If you're thinking about getting married, you should watch the video a few times. Absolutely. If you're going to do it, know the rules. And I tell people that all the time. Listen, if you're going to engage, know the rules of engagement, period. We're out here in these trenches. If you're going to get out the trenches and go make a run through no man's land, you need to understand how it works. That's the battle. And you need to protect yourself. So yes, Sister Candace is absolutely right.
Easiest one is you are now married. You have your non-marital condo, your bachelor pad that you had, prior to the marriage. And for a couple of months, you don't have a tenant. So all of a sudden you're using your money, your new money. I call it new money, but it's like salary. It's
funds.
The marital funds to pay that mortgage for those few months. What you've done there now is you have contributed marital funds, which 50% belong to your spouse, towards this non-marital asset.
Oh.
So the goal there with any of you guys or girls that have investment properties that you purchased prior to the marriage is to make sure that one of two things is always happening. Your renters and only your renters are paying for everything. I'm talking about PITI, everything, pool, renovations, everything that has to do with the property, or that you are using somehow maybe money you had from before the marriage that you can easily show when you transferred it over that it didn't come from the new marital funds account or money. Because you could have your own account and you might think, oh, well, this is my money. No, once you get married, unless you have a prenup, 50% of every dollar you make during the marriage is marital funds.
So you're telling me
that is how it works in Florida, guys. Remember, if you're watching this, these two attorneys, they are licensed in Florida. They do their business in Florida. They're talking about Florida law. Different states have different laws, but a lot of states are similar. And that makes sense to me. The minute you sign that marital contract, you sign on the dotted line, then y'all individual money is now group money. So, and like she said, unless you have documentation stating that this other money over here is separate from the marriage, Now it's all 50-50. It's half. Wow, that's crazy.
If I get married, I have a property, right? Let's say lawn maintenance. If I
The
need-
what? The what?
The lawn maintenance. For
The lawn maintenance, right?
If she pays that, does that count for like that same number 2?
She shouldn't be. Well, look,
She's
the
helping to
whole, the
improve it.
whole point of this
Maintain it.
is to make sure that none of no marital funds earned during the marriage go into your non-marital property. Because here's why. Imagine this. You own a real property, right? And during the marriage, you're paying the mortgage with marital funds. And let's say you did that for 15 years. So for 15 years, you pay down the mortgage every month. So after 15 years, you've paid down, let's just say $100,000 of mortgage. Additionally, over 15 years, the property's doubled in value. So now there's a marital component to both the mortgage pay down and the appreciation. So now you find yourself in a divorce case where you need to hire appraisers to figure out what it's worth back then, what it's worth now, and maybe a forensic accountant to establish the marital component that you created in your non-marital asset by paying down the mortgage. So if you keep it rented, just signing a lease agreement, that's not marital effort. You rented to keep all your marital funds away from your non-marital asset. There's no marital component.
Yo, I can imagine your girl
So,
be like,
so any appreciation that you enjoy during that time period isn't subject to any type of marital
Well,
distribution.
here's the thing. If you
Could be.
You see how confusing this is. Like if you have stuff, this is why you need attorneys. This is why you need attorneys. It is what it is. Sister Candace, it makes no sense to me why people have separate accounts for the reason they just stated. Right? It makes no sense to me why people have separate accounts for the reason they just stated. It just seems to me like you definitely would need an attorney, an accountant, maybe a C corp. You need something that your business entity has to be completely, utterly separate on its own, doing its own thing, and you can never use your money because now your money is half her money, y'all money. You can't use that money. You would need all of your entities to support the other entities independent of you. I wonder how it would work if you went to get a loan and gave that loan to the business, because if you got a loan, half that loan is probably hers. I don't. This is crazy. This is why they're saying you need a prenup. Last Good Man in Jersey, TLA did a deep dive on this a couple days ago. I didn't see that. I need to. I don't really watch a lot of TLA. I saw him when he was on Saucecast. He was on there with Just Pearly Things. And then we all know about that drama. So it is what it is. But yeah, this is and that's his wheelhouse. Like the guy's an attorney. Like that's how he makes his money. I don't know if he's still practicing because he's done so well on YouTube, but he has the experience, definitely.
It could be.
It could be.
Yeah, right. It's
But
a
not if
formula.
you have a prenup.
Okay.
And not if the property is rented 100% of the time and no marital funds go down to paying the mortgage and no marital, then you're safe. But the second your marital funds, Jennifer was saying, oh, what if my spouse pays for it? It doesn't matter. If your spouse pays for it or if you pay for it with funds earned during the marriage, you're creating a marital component in a non-marital asset. Don't do that.
yo, I can imagine, right? Let's say you're with your girl. She's like, babe, I love you. You know what? I'll pay the rent for you. No problem. I got you, baby. Just for 3 months. Got it.
Yeah,
got you.
she got you.
Damn.
Gotcha,
Well, funny story.
Okay.
When I met Dan, he owned his condo and I owned my own home too. So we both had non-marital assets, but we made the decision jointly, I hope, for me to move in with him. And so I remember when I moved in with him, I was like, look, I can't just live here for free though. Like that's not my MO. Like I need to help towards the bills here. And he was like, no, you don't gotta pay nothing here. You don't gotta help at all.
I'm like, you can take me to dinner.
And I was like,
you go to Costco, get all that wine.
I was like, I'm sure you have like a mortgage. Yep. You don't gotta pay towards the mortgage. No, you don't.
I want $1 a year
And he
towards that
never took
mortgage.
the only way as a fiance and as a wife that I was ever able to contribute while living in that apartment was, like he said, Costco runs, wine, food, but nothing towards something broke. Don't worry, babe, I got it.
Yeah, yo, he's smart, man.
AC broke, I got it. He wasn't having it.
He knows the
So,
rules. Okay.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like she come home to his condo and it's like, oh, the window broke. Someone broke the window. So I just called. I had to replace it and I paid for it. He's probably like, no, I got it. To be thinking like that, yo. I mean, that's the times we're in. You have to protect yourself. So if we're so paranoid about protecting ourselves, why get married? Under these circumstances, why get married? I mean, wow, this is crazy.
Crazy though. That's a crazy
So,
mix.
and real quick on that same topic, because this is, I think, really relevant for a lot of folks. You know, now the come up is like the Airbnbs of the world, VRBOs,
Yes.
right? Caution. You might say, well, I have this rental property, you know, my shawty, you know, she manages it for me. She
Yeah.
helps me manage it. She does payments, you know, she does a little Airbnb. She's helping you to maintain the property.
Yeah.
So my biggest advice is, whether it's she, he, doesn't matter, man, boyfriend, girlfriend, try to keep your loved one away from your business if it involves a non-marital asset like a
Damn.
property. And that's
And the thing with that is that conflicts directly with like the red pill manosphere philosophy of women adding value. That's the number one way for a woman to add value. It's not her sexuality, it's not her looks and all that. If she's able to do things like help you run the business, she's taking care of invoices for you, she's handling calls, she's doing all that. You know what I mean? They're saying don't let her do that. Or if she's doing that and then you marry her, you've commingled. But the whole point of having her in your life is to do that sort of thing. This is mind bending, guys. This is absolutely mind bending. Sister Candace, if the risk doesn't outweigh the reward, don't take the risk, right? Right? If the risk doesn't outweigh the reward, don't take the risk. I feel you on that. I feel you. I mean, you got to look at it. And this is where vetting becomes a whole big thing. And at some point, there's going to be you're just going to have to make a judgment call and go with it. When I look at this, again, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to get legally married. At my age, it doesn't make sense. Now, if I were younger, probably, yeah, definitely, especially if she's helping me build and we're doing this thing together. Yeah, and in that case where she's helping me build, yeah, she's entitled to she's earned the 50%, if not more, depending on what she's done. And if you got the right woman, she's really doing her role, she might be 75% of the success. So you got to weigh it out that way as well. You got to look at it. There's a couple ways to look at it, gentlemen, and individual and ladies too. And you guys just got to look at it and make the best call for you and what you want to do. I believe that's what it boils down to. But when we get into individual stuff, someone like me, you know, I'm in my 50s. Would I get married? Absolutely not. I just don't see it. And if you see me getting married to a woman, best believe that woman's probably worth $50 million. There's zero risk for me. Zero. If I'm going to do it, there's zero risk for me if this thing doesn't work out. Now look at someone like Donovan Sharp. Shout out to Donovan Sharp. But he's getting married to his girlfriend, Devin. They're getting married. At first, I thought it was a joke, but it looks like he's really getting married. He's going to do it at CME, I guess, in October, like during that time frame. Man, I really hope, and I'm fairly certain that he's weighed the pros and cons, and he knows what she asked to him as far as value and everything he has going on, and this is the best. I think this is the best move for him. I'm pretty sure that's what he's thinking. I don't know how old Donovan is, but yeah, that's what he's doing. He's getting married, and maybe they're doing, maybe he has the prenups and all that in place. I hope he does, brother Donovan. As you're out there, congratulations. I hope it works for you, bro, and I hope you are protecting yourself. You know what I mean? And Sister Candace was like, DL said, if it ain't Oprah, I ain't getting married. Word. Word up. If she ain't paid, forget about it. I ain't getting married. We can live a life. We just live in sin. I ain't getting married unless she got paper. I'm sorry. Here we go.
It's really hard because, when you do things, it's nice to be able to work together. I mean, hello, right? We work together, so I get it. But the minute the more leeway you give her or him into your non-marital assets, and then be able to say, well, I helped to make that, I helped to keep that.
Mhm.
If it wouldn't have been for my Airbnb management, you wouldn't be able to make that money. You would,
Damn. So that would, and I'm assuming this applies not just to real estate, but it could apply to your stocks,
Your business.
to your bonds, your business,
Yeah.
your
Business.
all this
So-
shit.
Interesting.
I ain't
So
getting
let's say
married
you
for
have,
sure now.
if you-
Yeah,
and-
they work for you, buddy.
here's an interesting distinction. So let's say you have a brokerage account or a retirement account or something
Mhm.
premarital, and you stop contributing it during the marriage because you're like, I'm not going to put marital funds in my non-marital. I'll just start a new one during the marriage. So your retirement account or your investment account premarital is increasing in value during the marriage,
Yeah.
but it's increasing because of passive market forces.
Yeah.
So you
Compound interest,
right.
etc.
So like passive appreciation is not marital.
Okay.
It's the active appreciation. So say like I own a non-marital condo.
Mhm.
The market forces appreciation. I've got it rented. She doesn't get any of that.
Yeah.
But let's say I take marital funds and I, put in a new kitchen or a new bathroom.
Yes.
That's active appreciation. That's something that is subject to equitable distribution.
Gotcha.
or
Okay.
she went
Wow.
in and helped you with the demolition, and she helped paint it.
Marital
And
effort. Marital
And
effort.
her dad is the one who owns the tile company, and they got you the tile. And
How about this? Let's say you employ her as an employee.
Mm.
Does she still get a cut of it as an employee? At this point, you're giving her probably a W-2 or whatever it is, and
I think
It's dangerous because
Yeah.
here's the thing.
you're paying her for it.
But here's the
So-
thing. But regardless, it's you're expending marital effort. She's expending marital effort. It's all marital effort. So it may not be as clean as you think.
Mhm.
You may not be protecting yourself, and that's why. Hold on one sec. That's why I tell everyone: if you're getting married and you own a piece of real property or you own a business, you need a prenup because
And there it is right there. If you own something, you got something prior to that marriage, and you get married, you're gonna need a prenup to insulate your previous works from your future works. That's how I look at it. Last good man in Jersey is like Donovan Sharp doesn't practice what he preaches. Yeah, I met Donovan at the 1 million party, man. Cool dude, whatever. I mean, Donovan Sharp is what you see on camera. That's dude. That's dude. And like I said, we had pretty good we had good conversation. We sat around and chopped it up. Cool cat. But yeah, what you see on that, what you see on video, what you see is what you get when it comes to Donovan. Sister Candace, if you have to go through all these gyrations, just don't get married. Period. Right? That's what I'm looking at. If you got to do all this, if you're that worried, and again, I'm not mad if you are that worried. 50% of the time, it doesn't work. I can't be mad at that. We playing the numbers. Don't get married. Don't get legally married. Myron and Fresh, there are a lot of ladies that help Myron and Fresh maintain their brand, maintain Fresh and Fit. We all know about Icy. We all know about Zena. There's people involved that y'all don't even know about. Fresh has ladies that help him out that are just they're just cool. They pay a lot of them, you know what I mean, like because they're part of the organization. They get paid for their efforts. It is what it is. But if they were to marry, and your woman is still doing all this kind of stuff, boom, you've just commingled the business. You could have had your business for 20 years. You just commingled your business with with someone you've been with, I don't know, 5 years or whatever it is. It's definitely something you got to think about. And Sister Candace was right. This is just, you need to think about it. You need to think about it. And if you have to think that hard and come up with all these things, these vessels, right? These things, these blocks or whatever, maybe don't get married. We'll watch a little bit of this, and then I want to show you some stats. I want to show you guys some stats.
you need to avoid
For
a
sure.
business valuation. You need to avoid the calculation of a non-marital or of a marital component in a non-marital asset. You want to avoid all those things.
Yeah.
look, I think if she has to work with you or he has to work with you, I think that's the smartest way, right? Although it's dangerous and it's a thin line, like Dan says, I think that's the cleanest and smartest way.
Employ them and have a prenup in place.
W-2 employee. This is your job. Maybe have her sign or him sign an employment
Let's-
contract that clearly says they are not owner. They don't have an interest, but you can accomplish that in a prenup as well.
Or
So
or a post-nup
or a post
if you're married
right.
already.
All
Fair
I'm
enough.
all I'm hearing is don't get married.
Yeah.
So just here.
Fresh keeping it 100. That's what I was hearing too. Don't get married. Just don't do it. And then earlier they talked about the soccer player, what was going on in Spain, and they were saying that there's a lot of guys out there like, I'm gonna put everything in my mom's name and I'm gonna do what he did, and I'm not gonna get wrecked over here in America. And both the attorneys were like, nah, it doesn't work that way. The rules are way different in America. There's no way you can do that. They were actually, let's say you did that. Let's say you were out here making millions of dollars doing whatever you're doing. Like you're like the number one widget maker in the world. You're making widgets, you're making tons of money. You transfer everything into your mom's name, and then you get married. And then, it lasts a few years. Then she decides she wants to divorce you, and it goes to divorce court. And what he was saying, it was like, yeah, we'll be right there, bro. It's like, we'll be right there. We'll add mom to the divorce hearings. They'll add her, and they would basically, like, mom ain't making widgets. She's doing whatever. We see what you're doing. That is your income. That's what you're doing. That's your money, and your wife is entitled to have. They'll do that. They also were saying that they will do that with trust as well, certain types of trust and things of that nature. So, fellas, if you're out there and you're looking for ways to, like, I want to make sure that I keep all this stuff that I had prior to meeting this woman and marrying her. I want to make sure I keep that safe. They talked about the co-mingling, but the number one thing you must do is get a prenuptial. That is the number one thing you must do. And when you put that paper on the table and she says she doesn't want to do it, you know what you're dealing with, bro. It is what it is. I know there are women out there who was like, yep, I met you. You're already successful. You're a top tier guy. You're a 1%er. You're making all this money. Of course, I'm going to sign a prenuptial. Of course. You have those women who will do that. You have those women. So it all boils down to vetting, getting what you need, figuring it out, definitely figuring it out. So I'm going to link this in the chat, guys, so y'all can just pull it right up. My Fresh and Fit fam, they already know where to find it. But I'm going to put it in here for anyone else who's watching this in the replay, so you guys can just link right to it. And again, shout out to Myron and Fresh. I want to bring up some stats, guys. I want to bring up some stats. This is going to be from divorce.com, and we're going to look at some numbers. Because I was just looking for some numbers and whatnot. We're going to look at some numbers. See if I can make this bigger. And I think you guys will be able to see it even in a small box. So this is divorce.com. I didn't know that they existed. The leader in online divorce. They got a lot of numbers. And this was updated as of April 12th of this year, which is, about 7 days ago. 48 divorce statistics in the U.S., including divorce rate, race, and marriage length. So when I saw this, it was a couple things I just wanted to look at. Like, the United States has the 6th highest divorce rate in the world, with 40 to 50% of married couples filing for divorce. Yo, that's crazy. Yo, right off rip. That should tell you something. Right off rip. People are getting divorced in America like it ain't nothing. Nothing. 40 to 50%. So we all know it's 50% in America. Like it's right there. So, and let's see, the United States Census Bureau report suggests that marriage and divorce rates have dropped from 2009 to 2019. A lot of people say that's the case because less people are getting married. So the numbers have dropped because less people are getting married. All right. So there's that. But that first stat right there, America is the 6th highest divorce rate in the world. I wonder who the other 5 are. I was tempted to click on that. I haven't clicked on it. Maybe later I will. So usually second or third marriages in the United States have a higher divorce rate. 60% of second marriages and about 73% of third marriages end the divorce. I didn't know that. That's why the divorce rate is so high in California, because people keep getting married over and over again. So second and third time, it only gets worse. Couples going through their first divorce are about age of 30. Married couples between the ages of 20 and 25 are 60% likely to get a divorce. Wow. So I had a theory that if you got married younger, maybe that's the secret to success and to longevity. Looks like I'm wrong. 60% of those getting married between 20 and 25 are likely to get a divorce. Black women divorce at a higher rate, 38.9% than women of any other race. Wow. Wow. Black women get divorced at almost 40%. 38.9%. I did not know that. Wow. The military divorce rate is 3% on average. In 2019 alone, 30,608 military marriages ended in divorce. So, Sister Candace, looks like you golden. You golden, sis. You golden. 3% divorce rate. 97% of the time they work out. Military marriages. I should have got married in the Army. Baby boomers have the highest divorce rate among other generations at 34.9%. See, 3 states, Maryland, New Jersey, and Massachusetts, have some of the U.S. highest median income levels and the lowest divorce rates. I think that Kevin Samuels should say that all the time. The more money couples made, the higher income level, the less likely they were to divorce. Wow. Alabama, Kentucky, Oklahoma have some of the United States' lowest median income levels and the highest divorce rate. So poor people tend to get divorced more than rich people. That's probably because there's a lot of fights going on. It's a lot of fights going on. So that kind of makes sense. So what is the divorce rate in the United States? The national average divorce rate in the U.S. in 2020 was 2.3 per 1,000 people. As the Center of Disease Controls reported, it is almost 64% lower than the average of 3.6 per 1,000 people in 2010. Again, that's excluding data from California, Georgia, Hawaii, Indiana, Louisiana, and Minnesota. The California data alone should skew that number. In 2019, CDC.gov reported an almost 2.7 divorce rate per 1,000 people. This excludes California, Hawaii, Indiana, Minnesota, and New Mexico. The Centers for Disease Control also reported 630,505 total divorces in the U.S. in 2020. The divorce rate in America in 2021 was estimated to be around 45% before the pandemic. However, by mid-2021, several legal professionals noticed an increase in divorce filings, most likely due to restrictions being eased. As a result, in 2022, some sources predict the divorce rate to reach at least 44.2%. And that's why they keep it between 40 and 50%. And again, it depends on the state. So like these numbers, these numbers are, the data is what the data is, but it looks like you have a 50-50 shot getting married. And they talks about the U.S. states with the highest rates of divorce: Arkansas, Oklahoma, Nevada, New Mexico, Kentucky, Wyoming, Delaware, Utah, Kansas, Alabama, and Missouri. All the highest, and their rates from 9.1 to 10.7. And I think that's per 1,000 people. So that's crazy. And they have them all listed right here. I just read them all off. That you look at Arkansas, 10.7 per 1,000 people. It's 10.7 divorces per 1,000 people. Delaware, 9.4. Kansas, 9.2. You would think Kansas would be good. It's the middle of nowhere. Arkansas has the highest divorce rate with 10.7 divorces per 1,000 married people. It's also one of the several states with the youngest age at the first marriage. Wow, I didn't know that. Do they get married young? I guess they're getting divorced young, with the youngest age at the first marriage. So didn't know that. And then here are the states with the lowest divorce rates. You got Maine, D.C., South Dakota, Pennsylvania, New York. New York is on the list. Wow. Illinois, New Jersey, Iowa, Wisconsin, Massachusetts. These are the states with the lowest divorce rates. Look at Maine, 4.8 per 1,000. This is according to 2022 numbers. DC, 4.8. Dakota, 6.0. New York, 6.1. Massachusetts. So, hey, maybe if you want to get married, go to one of those states and find you a boo. Find you a significant other there. So, and then they have like the divorce rate per year. If you kind of want to look at that, let me drop this in the link too, so you guys can pull this up. It's some pretty good information for anyone who's out there arguing and want to get into a debate. Here you go. When they say, well, where are you getting your numbers from? Who files for divorce more? And we all know who that is. Women, 69% of the time, according to these numbers, 69% of the time, women file for divorce. Men file 31% of the time. According to sociological research by MJ Ronsfeld, women file for divorce twice more often as men. Almost 69% of women initiate divorce in the U.S. compared to 31% of men. So yeah, and then when you're having these, when you see the stuff like Manosphere stuff, RP stuff, you know, whatever, they say 70, so they just round it up a little bit. But yeah, 69% of the time, women are filing for divorce. The rate of divorce for women, and these numbers are from 2022. So that's like 16.9 divorces per 1,000 married women. That's crazy. That was 2022. In 2018, it was 7.7 out of 1,000 married women over 15 got divorced. That number is more than doubled from 2018 to 2022. And that number, it seems to be going up. You know, less people, I think if we got to the point where everyone's going to get divorced, it's already done it. Despite the rate of marriage steadily declining compared to divorce rates, experts predict that between 40 to 50% of marriages today will ultimately end in divorce. That is crazy. Here go the numbers right here, y'all. Like it's just one of those things. The numbers are here. You know what I mean? And it's how does divorce rates differ for women? Women get divorced at a significantly higher rate compared to men. In particular, they get divorced at a rate of 7.7 per 1,000 citizens in the United States, according to the CDC government report. At the same time, the current national divorce rate is 2.3 per 1,000 people. These are the states with the highest rates of divorces for women. All right, so fellas, these are the states to stay away from if you're trying to marry a woman, because these are the states with the highest divorces filed by women. Divorces of women. So it's Arkansas, South Dakota, Oklahoma, Kentucky. Oh, not the Kentucky Bells. Oregon, Indiana, Nevada, Utah, Missouri, Tennessee. So women are just filing for divorce in those states. And the states with the lowest divorce rates for women, Puerto Rico. Hey, go down to Puerto Rico, man. Get you a Latina mommy. Puerto Rico, 4.2 divorces per 1,000 people. That's where I'm going to find a wife if I'm going to get married, y'all. Puerto Rico and points south of that. North Dakota, Rhode Island, New York, Wisconsin, Vermont, Illinois, California, Michigan. I don't believe the California number, y'all. California and Michigan round out the top places where women get divorced less. Top states where women get divorced less. So yeah, and it's a lot in here on women. You know, the rates. So here are the rates for divorce for women across the U.S. and it's broken down, by race. African American women, 33% divorces per 1,000 married residents. So 33% divorce rate for African American women, 22% divorce rate for Hispanic women, 19% for white women, 11% for Asians. Yeah, y'all might want to go out to Thailand. Looks like Thailand ladies ain't trying to get divorced. So yeah, and it gets into the marriage rates. So like these numbers are crazy. And it looks like divorce.com keeps really good track of this. Marriage rates in the U.S. have continuously declined for several decades. In 2018, the marriage rate was 31.3 per 1,000 unmarried women, with a 6.5 average for both genders. In 2019, there was 2,015,603 registered marriages, making the marriage rate even lower, 6.1 in 2020. It dropped even lower to 5.1. In 2021, 67.54 million men and 68.33 million women were married in the United States. How is it more women get married than men? That's a head scratcher. The United States with the highest rates of marriage. So these are just the states with the highest rates of marriage. Utah has the highest rates. You know, the Mormons be getting married over and that answers my question. How they get married to the same dude. Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas. Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota, New Hampshire. Those are the states with the highest rates of marriage. So, and then the states with the lowest rates of marriage: Louisiana, New York, Rhode Island, Mississippi, New Mexico, Nevada, Florida, Massachusetts, California, and Georgia. So those are the states with the lowest rates of marriage. The average length, this is what I wanted to get to. This is how I found the site, actually. You know what I mean? And Sister Candace, I was asking that question, like, how is the woman getting married more than same-sex marriages? No, I think it's polygamy, sis. I think it's because that was in Utah, Mormons are out there. I think one woman to marry, 2 women to marry one guy or something like that. I think it might be that. It might be the polygamy thing. Even though it's illegal, I think it might be the polygamy thing. And, same-sex marriages probably has something to do with that as well. The average length of marriage in America, the average length of marriage in the United States is 8.2 years. Although the national average for marriage in the United States is slightly over 8 years, couples in West Virginia and Maine have the longest lasting unions, 22.3 years. Wow, that's great, according to research. New York City is also among U.S. locations with the longest marriages. The typical marriage length for those who live in the Big Apple is 12.2 years. However, some scholars believe the actual number is closer to 7 years because the divorce process takes a year to complete. All right. Okay. So it looks like the average length of a marriage in America is 8.2 years. That's why I think people should do the contract with a time limit on there. Hey, let's do 6 years. Let's do 4 years. Let's do 6 years. Let's do 8. If we make 8, then maybe we can check the unlimited box. Or after 8, let's sign up for another 8. That takes you to 16 years. I think we should do something like that. We know how long these marriages are lasting. Maybe we should go ahead and incorporate that into people who want to give it a try. And and we can kind of set it up. If you do a 2-year marriage and and it doesn't work at the end of the 2 years, everybody walks away with what they came in with. And it goes up until 8 years. And then after 8 years, so that, okay, now you've married, now you're over 10 years. Maybe we start looking at co-mingling accounts and all that kind of stuff. And it's stated, if you're doing a marriage license for under 8 years and you get divorced, you get nothing. So what's the point of being married? Well, you can file married if you want, but you get nothing if it doesn't work. Either party gets nothing. We got married. We're doing what we're doing. You get nothing. So maybe you try the 2 year. It's 2 years pretty cool. Let's extend. Let's do another 2 years. Okay, we're at 4 years. You keep doing that till you get over 8 years. Once you're over 8 years, all right, now the co-mingling and all that kind of stuff comes into you. Okay, now everything's 50-50. So maybe you do that instead of the $50,000 bond, or maybe you do a combination of the two. Maybe you do a combination of the two. But I didn't know that. I was curious to see what the average marriage was in America. It looks like 8.2 years. That's funny. If we know that, and if that number holds, you shouldn't get nothing until you get more than 10 years. That's what I'm thinking. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Does that make sense to anybody out there other than me? Many resources estimate that the U.S. divorce rate to be about 50%. Right. So they always say between 40 and 50, but the actual percentages of marriages that end in divorce vary between 40% and 50%. A lot of people get separated and they don't file a divorce. They just stay separated and don't worry about it. So I think that 50% number is safe. Let's say that the actual number of people who get divorced and or separate and never get back together is like 56% or something like that. I still think it was safe for 50%. For those who fear their marriage will end in divorce, this statistic is reassuring and suggests they are more likely to stay married than divorce. Right. And then it goes into divorce demographics for adults over the age of 15. People are getting married at 15. That's the kid, man. At 15. Can't even drive at 15. How are you going to be getting married? But yeah, I guess average age 45.8. I guess that's the average age for a divorce is 45.8. Bachelor degree or higher, 30% of those people with bachelor degrees or higher get divorced, it looks like. Employed, 63.3%. of employed folks get divorced, looks like. Unemployed, if you're broke, unemployed, 36.7% of the time you're gonna get divorced. That's crazy. Living below poverty line, 11.9%. So y'all ain't got nothing, you might as well stay together. Living with children under 18, people looks like they're staying together, 23.2%. Homeowners, 67.4%. Renters, 32.6%. So maybe or they're implying the homeowners stay together because they don't want to split the home. Renters don't care. Am I reading that right? 30. No, that's the other way around. Homeowners get divorced because they know they're gonna split the house. Renters stay together because they ain't got nothing to split. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, so you look at that, man. The average age of a divorce is 45.8 years. And then it talks about people with money. So the low divorce rates are in Maryland where people tend to make more money like that. Is that the median income? $87,063. They have low divorce rates. Jersey, 85,245 is the sixth state with the lowest divorce rate. Massachusetts, the lowest divorce rate nationwide, and the average is $84,385. And these are median income levels. Hawaii, so these are the California, and the states with the lowest median household income levels. Mississippi, West Virginia, Arkansas. Arkansas is the highest divorce rate nationwide, and the median income is $49,475. So poor people seem to be getting divorced, and wealthier folks tend to stick and work it out. New Mexico, $51,243 is the median income. That's the fourth highest divorce rate. Second highest divorce rate, Oklahoma, and they're bringing in $53,840. So it looks like the poor folks are just bailing. Income also impacts the decision to marry, seemingly decreasing the divorce rate. In 2018, the Census Bureau reported that 20% of 18 to 34-year-olds who made $40,000 plus per year were unmarried. 40% of 18 to 34-year-olds who made $40,000 plus per year were married. Okay. We see that. So financial difficulties often cited as the main reason for not getting married among never married adults. 47% of them have incomes below $30,000. 40% of them have incomes below between $30,000 and $75,000. For those people who are like, well, I don't make enough money to get married. So, And then what type of marriage is divorce most common? Of the 39% to 50% of marriages ending in divorce, the average length of the marriage is 8 years. Again, there's that 8-year number, y'all. According to the census.gov statistics, the two periods during marriage where divorces occur are usually during the first 2 years or the 5th to the 8th year of marriage. Again, even though no conclusive result has been reached, it is expected that the most challenging years in the average marriage are years 7 and 8. It is often referred to as the 7-year itch. I've heard that. So we should have, why don't we have contracts that just like, all right, boom, you can do, do these little chunks of time. God, the police gonna get me. Do these little chunks of time. These numbers are here. These numbers are here. I'm just about to wrap it up right now. The last good man in Jersey. I know people who aren't divorced only because they can't afford it. And for the 50% of people who don't get divorced, some of these marriages are unhappy. Marriage is failing. Agreed, bro. Agreed. Absolutely. Said the same thing. Of the 50% who don't get divorced, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're happy. You could probably safely say, just making up numbers, you could say a third of those people want to be divorced, but they don't for one reason or another. So these numbers are out here. These numbers are out here. And it's like the number one reason people get married: love, companionship, commitment. Like 90% of people get married for love. It's crazy. 66% for companionship. Commitment, 63% for commitment. The desire to have children, 31%. Finances, 13%. Legal rights to be and benefits, 10% for those, those women and men who come over looking to get married to stay. Pregnancy, 6%. So the majority of people get married because they're in love. Disney fairy tale. Disney fairy tale. I wonder what the reasons the people get divorced. I don't see it in here. So it's just stuff in here that talks about what impacts divorce. And it goes, divorce rates by generation. Boomers 15%, 18%, Gen X, 23%, millennials, 27% Gen Z. Wow, it seems to be going up. So yeah, I agree with last good man in Jersey. Doesn't seem to be working too good. What's good, man? Drill's in the house, y'all. What's good, fam? Man, Drill is in his house. Man, this is kind of, it is what it is. I'm gonna drop the link real quick in case anybody wanted to come up and say a couple things. I'll go ahead and just drop the link. It's in there. I'll pin it to the top. Like I said, these numbers don't really scare me. It is what it is. That's how I look at numbers. It just is what it is. I'm not scared of these numbers. I'm just looking at them and it kind of makes sense to me. Gen Z, millennials, they're not really trying to be married. Why? I think it's too easy. I think it's too easy. And it talks about how age impacts marriage. How does age impact the likelihood of divorce? So they got that information in there. See, marriages at 35 years, 15% end up in divorce. Marriages at 20 to 24 years, 20% end up in divorce. Go 20 years and then get married. Get divorced. To go 35 years and then divorce, that doesn't make sense. Marriages at 30 to 34 years, 14% divorce rate. Marriages at 25 to 29 years, 15% divorce rate. Why put in all that time to get divorced? You would think if it's not working, straight away. Like, all right, this ain't working. Let's get divorced. You would certainly know before year 7. How are you going to go all the way to year 30 and then get divorced? That just doesn't make sense to me. That just doesn't make sense to me at all. Brother Mandrill, what's good, man? How you feeling?
What's going on, DL?
Hey, nothing, man. I'm just sitting here, just going over, divorce stuff, man. Like I said earlier in the show, I don't know if you heard it. I was saying that it's just too easy to get married. And I think that both parties should have to put some skin in the game, like a marriage bond. Like each party has to put up half. Maybe it's 50,000, maybe 100,000. Each party puts up half, and then it's held in like an escrow. And then whoever files a divorce, the other party gets that money.
Yeah, but what are poor people gonna do?
Hey man, don't get legally married.
Oh, come on.
Or
Yeah.
no, because you got to have some skin in the game. Maybe you got to have some sort of skin in the game. But
if you're 19,
your family has to put the money up.
the family ain't got no money. Come on, man.
Hey, they can get you out of jail. They be putting the house up to get you out of jail.
The vast majority of people don't have money.
Okay, well, you take a loan. Just like you would take a loan to go to college.
Right, and get people in debt. There you go. Way to feed the machine, DL Saint.
Let's feed the machine because
no, let's not feed the machine. The machine is full.
The machine. It's too easy to get divorced. Or maybe we do a marriage contract which has a time limit. You can get a 2-year marriage.
No, let's not do that. That's pointless.
Why is it pointless?
Married? Then why get married for 2 years? What's the point?
You don't like it 2 years. You don't have to re-up. You don't have to renew.
No,
walk away.
You're not solving for the problem. That's my issue with your suggestions. You're not solving the problem.
The problem is marriage. The problem is to do away with legal marriage. That's the problem. We should do that. Just do away with legal marriage. Get married through the church. That has nothing to do with the government. The problem is having to I was reacting to a Fresh and Fit video when they had 2 Miami attorneys. Shout out to the Pratts doing their thing, and they were basically telling you all these steps you need to take to avoid commingling funds. To from the day you get married, you are planning for the divorce. What are we doing? You know what I mean? So it's like, well, let's do. If this is the case, let's do away with it. Who's making all the money in divorces? The lawyers are. The government. The government is.
Yeah, that's why it's not going anywhere.
Okay.
So to solve for the problem, plus there's tax benefits and things like that, spousal rights, all that. Because if you get a DNR, if you're in the hospital, God forbid, and somebody has to make a decision whether to pull the plug or not, you know what I'm saying? You want someone to speak on your behalf, and that person would be a spouse. So, That's why I'm saying legal marriage. It is what it is now. You have to change people's mindset on it. What
Yeah,
people are
but-
looking for and things like this, they have to understand. Listen, but that's not going to happen either because people want what they want and people are selfish. It's a Western thing. It's what we've been conditioned to believe. It's what we've been raised to think. The way we've been raised to think. Think about it as kids. Like I said this before, boys are not raised on how to treat women. Girls are not raised and taught how to cooperate with boys. Boys aren't taught how to cooperate with girls. So when you grow up, you have no clue what you're doing. No clue. You know? And so you can't get rid of legal marriage because you're not solving for the overall problem. We still don't know how to talk to each other. Still wouldn't know how to treat each other. We're still stuck with the same problem, but we've given ourselves fewer solutions to it, or fewer avenues or alternatives to it.
So if you don't want to make it easier, if you don't want to make it harder to get married, shouldn't it be harder to get divorced? And before you answer, we got brothers Scam Likely's in the house. What's good, fam? Hey, look, man, I'm gonna see you tonight, bro. I'm gonna be on the panel tonight, bro. I'm bringing all this over to Black Man Unfiltered. I'm bringing all this over to Mandrell's show tonight, man. So
I'm not gonna be there tonight.
I know that Scam's gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna bring all this over. And he's like, according to DL Saint, call 888-555 Doom prior to marriage. I'm just saying, brother, you have to be careful. There are people out there getting wrecked. And I tell these guys this, these young dudes, they're like, hey, man, should I get married? Like, are you broke? Are you a brokey? Well, yeah, I don't really have anything. I haven't really figured it out yet. Yeah, get married. Get married. You got nothing to lose. You don't need to sign no prenup, nothing. You're poor, go get married. But the minute you know you got some money coming in, the minute that your hard work starts to pay off and you got bread coming in, you're going to have to do a post-nup. Or you're going to get wrecked when it's all over. That's what I'm seeing out here.
Well, here's the thing. That's the risk you run. That's it. It's a gamble. It is. I agree to that. It's a gamble. However, so is everything else. Literally everything else you do in life. You drink a glass of water, you run the risk of choking on it. You eat food, you run the risk of choking on that. You walk in the street, go for a jog, you run the risk of getting hit by a bus or a car or getting robbed and gunned down. Everything has a risk. Everything. So in marriage, all you're doing is throwing your chips on the table and you're playing blackjack or roulette.
You playing Russian. Or Texas
Hold'em. It's all a gamble. No, the thing is, it's no different than anything else. It's a gamble. It is.
Bro, right now you're playing Russian roulette with 8 cylinders and 4 of them are loaded. That's what you're playing with. That's 50%. Last good man in Jersey, Rolo talked about it. Number one reason women divorce is because of finances. Number one reason men get divorced is because their wives do something illegal like drugs. All right.
Okay, here's the thing. If finances,
and that's paraphrased.
If the finances are the reasons why women are getting divorced, that's the woman's problem. The man is only going to make as much money as he can. You have to understand. Here's what, again, people aren't taught that some people want to be engineers. Some people want to be a manager at Costco. Some people want to work fries at McDonald's. Some people want to be nuclear physicists. Some people want to be lawyers. Some people want to be doctors. Here's the issue that women don't take into account. If a man makes money, like a lot of money, the less time he's going to have to spend with you and whatever children you have. Because if you're making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year and up, you ain't got a lot of time with your family. Believe me, he's busy. He doesn't have a lot of time for you. Because whatever's paying him, think you work an 8-hour day to make $40,000, $50,000 a year. That's an 8-hour day. And then you get home, you have what, 4 or 5 hours? You spend way more time sleeping in at work and doing other things than you do with your wife and family anyway, working a regular job. You're got a job paying you that kind of money. You probably won't see your spouse. But for like what, 2-3 days a week?
So you're saying there's an inherent risk. Okay. And I agree. There's a lack of understanding.
There's a lack of understanding.
We do.
And there's a lack of understanding. And with the women who are leaving because of money, there's a lack of understanding. Yeah, you'll get the money, but the man is not going to have time. So if you don't want him to cheat and explore the options, You need to make yourself available to him. Like go to his office and get one in quick to keep his eyes off his secretary. No, we don't want to do that. It's not supposed to be take this much work.
Well, so you're saying that a possible fix would be to go back to the basics, so to speak, go back to the old way of thinking and actually raise young boys and girls with the understanding of how it works. Because there are some people out there there are some people out there that there's a disconnect. I think everyone out there who can hear this and who will hear this in the replay will accept and understand and agree that there is definitely a disconnect. And you're saying in order to fix that disconnect is to take the time to train up the youngins, boys and girls, and let them understand but it doesn't change for the fact that it's still so easy to get married and even easier to get divorced, and someone's going to get wrecked. Now, generally speaking, guys will be like, man, the men are going to get wrecked. You lose half everything. I think it was right here, brother Pitney Jules. Now, this is for you, bro. I don't know if you was already here, but that's for you in case I forgot to give you a shout out. Everything has a risk in life, but downside risk of marriage is half of everything. No thanks. And that normally falls to the guy. But what I like to always point out is it falls to the person who earns the most. A lot of people like, no, it's just system is set against men. Like, no, it's just men tend to be the higher earners. It's kind of like what you're saying. You pick a guy who's out here making all his money. He's not around. He's doing his thing. So she get like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm not going to go down to the office and give him a quick one in. I'm not going to work on it. I'm just going to walk away, take the kids, take the house, and take half of his earnings. What can we do to fix that, bro?
Have that woman understand before she gets involved in the marriage what she's involved in. I got a cousin who's married to a millionaire, multimillionaire, right? Now she makes six figures herself. But my cousin understood what kind of man she got. He ain't a 9-to-5 dude. The kind of money he makes, he's gonna be in another country, in other countries. He has to do this for work, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she has a nice lifestyle, but I mean, that guy's gonna spend a considerable amount of time away from home. Again, normal jobs require you to work 8 hours. That's for normal salary. I mean, you got to understand, lady, it's give and take. It's give and take.
Brother Dusto was saying, I honestly don't know anyone who got divorced based on finances. Red pill lot. Dusto, bro. Mm-hmm. I know plenty of people who got divorced based on money.
Reference 11.
You know what I mean? What's your take on that, brother Mandrill? Because you ain't gonna be here.
I don't know anyone who's divorced over money either, that I know of. But it does happen, according to the numbers and according to what people say. You hear these women on these panels, and not only on these panels, but in real life say it. I've had women tell me, "Oh, you don't make enough money for me." Here's a chick who has no clue how much money I make. No clue how much money I make.
But you don't make
clue. But I don't make enough. You have no idea what my finances look like. You know what I'm saying? But she's making a judgment based on whatever. They don't even know how. Here's the thing: they don't know either, because they don't even know how rich people dress. Oh, he got on a Gucci. You know, first of all, real rich people, they don't wear labels. They don't wear labels. You know what I'm saying? They'll wear like a regular T-shirt and some jeans. Now that T-shirt, it looks like a plain T-shirt. It costs $600 though, but there are no labels on it. The value in the garments that they wear is in the structure, construction, and the comfort of how the clothes fit and feel. It ain't on the label. You don't see labels on rich people's stuff, man. They'll spend $1,200 on a tracksuit.
Yeah, they're not gonna put labels on their stuff because they don't want to make somebody.
And it's a Target,
money.
right?
And
if
it's their brand,
Target.
Yeah, if it's their brand, they're gonna wear the label. We got Brother Dusto up here. Brother Dusto, last good man in Jersey is asking you a question. It's like, do you have a source, or you just disagreeing? Rolo does extensive research, so I'm going to believe that versus just feelings. And I'm on last good man in Jersey side in this. Rolo Tomasi is a numbers guy. I mean, he's just in depth in numbers. And again, yeah, we can cite sources on this and that, but. So go ahead, bro.
That's a lie. Can y'all hear me? I'm driving, so
yeah, we
signal
can
might
hear
not be
you.
great.
Sound like you're running over.
Yeah.
Sound like you're running over squirrels or something.
Nah. I looked it up. Actually, I was on a dust panel before, and they're getting divorced because of finances. I was like, really? Go look it up. 4 or 5 people on the panel looked it up, and they was like, hey, man, actually, you was right. Number 1 is communication. Number 2 is infidelity. Number 3 is incompatibility. Number 4 is finances. And even if it was finances, explain how that works. So you marry a guy making $67,000, and then 5 years later he's making 83, and you divorce him. Is that how this works? But I don't know anybody said, hey, I'm divorcing him because of money. The only time I've ever seen problems with somebody not managing money, spending it all at the strip club or doing whatever, but that usually had another underlying problem along with it. But divorcing over money doesn't even make sense.
All right, so
I married him, so now I'm going to divorce him because of money.
Yeah,
And then you go out there and make less money because now you're single. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, the person who's going to receive alimony, child support, and all that is not going to be making much less money. But here, according to divorce.com, this is divorce.com. This is what I've been citing most of this stuff from. What is the most common reason for divorce? I have it on the screen right here. Dusto, don't you be looking, man. You've been uncrashed. I'll just read it to you. Number 1, financial troubles are also another common reason for divorce. And this isn't any particular order. They're just saying financial troubles are also another common reason for divorce. According to divorce stats, economic issues cause about 25% of divorces. All right, infidelity, they have number 2. Infidelity or extramarital affairs are the second most frequent reason for divorces. Roughly 20 to 40% of marriages end in divorce because of cheating partner or infidelity. Alcohol or drug use causes about 24% of divorces. Married couples who argue constantly are another reason for divorce. About 57.7% of couples get divorced because of daily arguing. So
that proves my point.
Right. So it says financial troubles are also another, but when you look at it, it says number 1, like number 1 through 5. Number 1 is this financial trouble. So it has a link here for common reason for the divorce. I want to go to here. And it says 13 of the most common reasons for divorce. You can keep talking, but financial issues are up there though, right? When you agree with that?
Yeah, I said it was number 4, and actually it actually is number 4. 57, then 20 to 40%, then 25, then you said finances. It's number 4. Cheating is number 2. I forgot what the other one it said was. But arguing is pretty much communication, which is number 1. Most sites you're going to look up is going to say communication.
Okay.
But
could I don't get? Could someone argue that those? Could someone argue that those arguments are over money? Because that would be the natural. What are we arguing over? Probably over money.
No.
No. Okay.
Absolutely not. Actually, go outside or just go somewhere and tell me where you see couples arguing over money. And usually, if somebody's arguing over money, they never like the other person anyway. All the stuff, the 6-figure 6-pack, and he got to make all this, that's for the dude that they don't like. But the dude they usually like can be a regular guy, and it's cool. Women have jobs, most of them.
Yep. And
there's a select few of women who can say, look, I want 150 grand, and that are actually worth it and go get it. But a lot of the ones who are asking for the big money, they ain't worth it no way. But the courts and throwing the government in, well, the government gonna make them stay married for 4 years. The government should never be a part of your marriage. Once they come, you're pretty much divorced, and they're just helping facilitate it. Outside partners and everything. Other than counseling, anything outside of the man and the woman causes divorce, other than the kids.
Once you get a
marriage, but it means that the man and the woman are not connected, and the bond can be broken or compromised.
Once you get a marriage certificate, you're married to the government, right? I mean, that's just keeping it 100. Because I'm all for getting married with just keep the government out of your business. Just get married either religiously or whatever on your own. All right. I'm gonna catch up with the chats real quick, and I'm gonna come back to you. And again, we're gonna be talking about this tonight on Brother Mandrell's show, Unapologetic with Mandrell and Shushu. Mandrell won't be there, but Scam likely to be there, Shushu will be there, and I'll be there. And we're gonna continue this conversation. We got Miss AKA lady in the house. What's good, love? Brother Act Ozzy's in the house as well, man. What's good? Our brother from up north. Arguing about finances, LOL. You know what I mean? Act Ozzy, buy me this. No, I want a divorce. I added the I want a divorce part.
That's not even a marriage.
Well, I mean, but again, that
Go ahead.
goes to what, but that goes to what Mandrill is talking about. Things have changed. Last good man in Jersey again. Proper. What word is that again? Paraphrasing Rolo. When women make more money, they think they can do better in dating. Most of these other issues are symptoms of that root cause. Yeah, and again, I understand you're paraphrasing, bro. I get it because Rolo.
I disagree. But go ahead.
Well, we're gonna get into that part right now, and I know we're gonna have a part 2 tonight. But I understand you disagree, but wouldn't you agree that there are people out there? What am I trying to say? You're telling me you've never come across a woman who was like, my dude ain't making enough money. I don't know, girl. I think I need to move on. You've never seen or heard of that or encountered that?
No. That means they don't like the guy, and then they go get a guy who's making less money. Ask a woman to see her cell phone. You'll see the guy that she really wants. Or ask her, just keep listening to what they say and what they've done. They'll tell you about when they were 29, there was a regular dude who was in the Navy, or was a regular guy at the Amazon warehouse that they're still stuck on. That school teacher. Sometimes it's Mark Wavius from up the block. But it's not all these, he was an attorney and he was a doctor that they're really stuck on like that. Sometimes, but it's not always the higher the value, the this. It does play a part, but it's about the connection and the bond that you got with the person. For example, I always say this. If you go to any college campus, you'll see women dating college guys. They don't have it either. And they're dating these guys that is getting ranked, but a lot of them they didn't say, excuse me, 6-pack, you got 6 figures? Nope. Not breaking up over money because there wasn't money.
All right, and you're breaking. Speaking of breaking up, you're breaking up as you're driving. We had you there for we probably lost about a third of that. But if what you're saying is true, why is it then that 69% of women file for divorce? Can you hear me?
Because they don't want to be with the man.
Right.
Because they don't want to be with that man.
Right. And you got to understand also.
They don't like him.
Yeah. And the thing is, people don't know how to endure things either. Again, they're not taught what it means to be in a long-term relationship. They don't understand that you're not always going to be in love with that man. The man is not going to always be in love with the woman. It's unreasonable to expect that. But people don't know what to do when they love that person, but they don't know what to do when they're not in love with that person anymore. They don't know what to do with that. The older ones, the last 40, 50, 60 years, the marriages like that, they understand that it's not about being in love with that person. You're building a life together. You're building a life together. That's what the goal is. And building a life together is not something that has a finish line. It doesn't have an end point. It never stops. You're constantly building that life together. Even when you're 83 years old, and you're just sitting on the porch. The two of you are enjoying leisure time together. Outside, you're enjoying each other's company. That's a part of building a life together. People don't know how to do that anymore. And they haven't known how to do that for a long time, DL. People want things to be the way it was in the beginning the entire time.
Right. They want that love, dopamine, puppy love hit. I would argue this. It's too easy to either get married or get divorced. Brother Gusto, would you say it's too easy to get married and or too easy to get divorced? And if so, should there be some sort of change?
The only change you can do is change the people. Like, that's all you can do. But laws, and you can't beat them into it. You can't lock them into it. Then you just have what they claim were the marriages of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, to where they were stuck, and it didn't make good reason to leave. But even then, and I say this about even the feminism that the dudes keep pushing back on. They're saying, well, it's all women's fault. They wanted feminism and they left. Why did they want to leave? Why? Because if these men were all these super builder leaders, when feminism came, they would have said, no, we're keeping our men. But there had to have been something of a reason why they wanted to leave. And this is my other point about finances. Dating a person and living in 2 different apartments is not profitable. But when you do get married is when you put the money together. So how could you leave based on finances when you make more money together than you do when you were just dating? Which means you marry for finances, not leave for finances. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but the thing is, Dusto, what you're doing is you're using logic in something that's not very logical. People are leaving for illogical reasons. It's not practical at all. The reason why people leave. They say most of the women are filing for divorces, and I do agree. We need to ask, why are women filing for divorce? You know, and when you see when they and we see the numbers, all we see is the numbers. But if we were to ask these women, I would agree with Dusto. I guarantee you, it has something to do with emotions. It has something to do
combo
with
of both.
Yeah, right. It has something to do with their emotion. As far as the overall reason why they left, it has something to do with emotional, because the communication is number one. Now, the way you communicate with a woman is going to affect how she feels. 99% of it is going to affect how you communicate with her. Body language, the things you say, the way you say them, your vocabulary, that's going to affect the way she feels. So finances, that affects the way a woman feels. She feels trapped. Everyone feels trapped when they don't have finances. Everyone feels trapped when they can't afford to do the things that they want to do. It has something to do with her emotions. And women, I think a lot of them make decisions like that based on emotions. And a lot of men don't know how to speak to a woman's emotions. It's just, I mean, that's something we have to learn how to. That's something we have to learn how to do, because we're not naturally wired to do so. We have them, but we have to be taught how to manage our emotions. We have to be taught that, and we have to be taught how to speak to another person's emotions. And we're not doing that. We haven't been doing it for decades.
And can we add to that? Okay, I agree with all that, but when you add to it that I understand how the system works and I can get half, whoever the person is who's bringing in the least, right, or whatever, isn't there something there with when people are incentivized to leave? Like Brother Mandrell saying, no one's trying to stay and stick it out and make it work like we did in days of old. So if you're incentivized to leave, wouldn't you just leave? Well, I can, even if let's take the money out of it. I'm just going to get divorced and start over. And
but the thing is, again, it's pointless to do that, which tells me that they're not making decisions based on logic. That's a metric or a variable in the equation that they're not thinking about, because it makes no sense for you to marry someone and then start all the way over unless that person's abusive or that person is just not cooperative or no longer committed to the goal that you guys agreed to in the beginning. You know what I mean?
But I think Sister Candace has it though. Right there, what you said. She says, I just think people are ignorant to the pros and cons of marriage expectations, how to be a wife/husband, and their marriages are godless, which much like our society. So
yeah, I said the same thing.
Okay,
I agree with Candace M.
Let's Dusto get his in. Go ahead, Dusto.
Okay, what the men are saying is, all the systems incentivized to leave. That's a lie. They're more incentivized to stay.
I don't agree with that.
If they have children, okay, there's a very small population, because they always make it on the worst case scenario. Most dudes aren't making all this money. What a man makes and what a woman makes ain't but a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 difference in most cases. The people who are making but they make it seem like the dudes make all this money, and as soon as she leaves, they just wipe you out and they get everything. A woman leaving and filing for divorce loses. They end up worse off than the man. But you're better off if you have children with the man in the house and a second income in the house. That's an incentive to stay. But they say it's incentive to leave just because when they leave, they get a whole $700 of child support versus having a man making $58,000. I don't see it as an incentive to leave.
Again, you don't see it as an incentive to leave because you're using common sense and logic. They're not making these decisions based off that. Because again,
I disagree with that also, Mandrell.
I think it's an emotional
It's not
decision.
based on finance. No, here's the thing. A short-term emotional decision and a long-term emotional decision are different. I feel like crap every time I come home because this man won't listen and won't do. That's a logical decision based on emotion. Being miserable every day, just like jobs that I've had, I hate it. And I hated going into that place. It's a logical decision never to go back in that building again and get another job.
Okay.
Mental health, your state of being, eventually the emotional falls into the logical. Just like a man who's sitting in his car, doesn't want to come home, waits to come home at 11 at night when his wife is asleep. It's a logical decision to not be with that woman anymore. Emotion can turn into logic. But all I'm saying is, if it was so beneficial, we'd see baby mamas and divorcees running Wall Street because they made so much money off these divorces. I think they say only 7% of divorces even end up with some alimony anyway. So people are complaining about fictional money that doesn't exist. And child support is different. But hey, you got to take care of the kids. But the better thing would be to work it out with your woman or whatever. But if she left, it wasn't to go make more money or because of finances. She'll be in a worse financial situation. And she knows it and does it anyway. That's all I got.
Well, we're gonna get to hear some more of it tonight. I want to do the final thoughts because I'm listening to you. While you were talking, I did do a quick search. The average child support obligation in America, and this is September of 2022, $430 a month. It's about $5,150 a year. That's according to a law firm. It was just a real quick one. I've seen some pages where the average child support obligation was $1,000 a month. So it varies. So tonight I'll have some better stats. Wonderful 34s in the house. What's good, fam? Miss AKA lady, poor communication, lack of consideration, uneven sharing of the household, slant kid responsibilities. It takes more than paying the mortgage to be a good husband. And she continues, I agree with Scam. Sometimes women are having to choose between their peace and their marriage, with women making bread a lot or choosing peace. That's a good point. And Sister Candace, 5 bands a year, excellent question. But yeah, I think it's less. I think it's more than that. I think it's closer to $1,000 a month, but I just did a quick search. I'm gonna have to do some more looking. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some more looking, but it could be. It could be. So Brother Mandriel, we'll do closing thoughts with you, final thoughts, bro. And I know this is gonna be the final temporary thoughts when we get to dust, though, because we're gonna be on Mandriel's platform tonight, continuing this conversation. But final thoughts for you. Oh yeah, I can't wait, man. It's gonna be fun.
Final thoughts for me. People, please understand the pros and cons of marriage. And if you're in a marriage and you're not all about the other person, you're going the wrong way. If you're in a marriage, it's not about you. It's about her and whatever kids you have. Her for the woman. If you're in a marriage, you're not all about your husband, you're going the wrong way. You're supposed to be doing for each other. That means, fellas, learn how to communicate properly. Learn how to learn your woman's pain points so you don't hit them. Okay? Learn what makes her happy, what makes her sad. Learn your partner. Okay? And that goes for both of you. I don't understand how y'all get this mixed up. I mean, people are just, I don't know, man. We're just not taught to be married anymore. We're not. That's how it's supposed to work, like this. He is all about her. She is all about him. Both of them are all about the family, the unit. One hand washes the other, and both hands wash the face. That's how this works. If you're not ready for that, don't bother with marriage, and don't waste the other person's time. If they want marriage and you don't, call it quits. That's all I got.
Well, words of wisdom. We're gonna try to do you justice tonight, man. I appreciate. Wrong button. Words of wisdom right there. And as y'all know, if y'all follow me here, that's Brother Mandrill. He has his own show on Black Man Unfiltered Network, Unapologetic with Mandrill and Shushu, his beautiful sister. He's not gonna be there tonight, but what time? What time is it again tonight? Because I always get confused with Central and Eastern time.
Well,
9:30 on the East Coast.
9:30 on the East Coast, 8:30 Central.
That's what's up. So
there's only an hour difference.
I mean, I just get confused. Yeah, I'll stay East Coast time instead of.
Yeah.
I know the difference, but I forget your time, your start time.
Gotcha.
So 9:30 Eastern Standard Time tonight. I'm gonna be there on Black Man Unfiltered. Dusto's gonna be there. Unfortunately, Mandrill is not gonna be there, man. He's on some Green Beret hush hush super secret out in the woods chasing possum stuff, whatever he's doing down there.
Chasing possum.
So again, man, thanks for coming up, bro. I really appreciate
All
you,
right,
man.
Take it easy.
All right, man, I'm gonna holler at you later. Peace.
Have a good one.
And then Brother Dusto, your final thoughts.
Yeah, I'll keep it simple for now and say the rest for later. Final thoughts. Do fair evaluations of marriage and use some critical thinking in the information, a lot of stuff that you may receive regarding marriage, statistics. Zero or one. That's all I got. We'll talk about the rest later.
Yeah, we'll have to pick it up there later, y'all. And yes, he's driving. So sorry about that. Breaking up there. He's driving out in the middle of nowhere. We got the sticks out here in Central Florida. He's probably out there in the middle of it. So you can catch me and Dusto talking about this tonight. Brother, I'm gonna see you tonight. Peace. He's already gone. Let's see. Sister Candace, 5 bands a year, ? Yeah. And then Miss AKA lady was like, yep, simple as that. Talking about what Brother Mandrill was saying. I found another stat. It's it's en.as.com. I guess it's some sort of news site. Not sure who they are. You know, with these online stats and stuff like that. But they calculate that the average typical child support payment nationwide, $721 per month. I think it's closer to that. I think that's the average these days. Closer than that. It's closer to that. And again, the average child support obligation tends to be trending up. Is going up. So I'm gonna work real hard to see if I can't find a more solid source for that. Sister Candace, great discussion tonight. Thanks, sis. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna go over and try to catch a little bit of Fresh and Fit. My final thoughts on all this is basic, yo. Understand the rules of engagement, period. Understand the way things work. It's out here, y'all. If you're a brokey, getting married is probably going to benefit you. You don't have anything, half or nothing is nothing. So if you're a brokey, it's all good. If you have something or you're in a marriage and you know you got something coming, you might want to get an agreement. Lock down in writing. Get you an attorney, either get you a prenuptial or get you a postnuptial. Get you an agreement. You can't say you didn't know. You can't say you didn't know. Now, having said all that, I do agree with Brother Mandrill and Sister Candace and everyone else who says this. Know who you're getting married to. Understand your responsibilities and your roles in said partnership, marriage. Understand that, accept it, and then move forward. If you don't trust that person you're with, if you're worried about losing half your stuff, if you're worried about child support, alimony, and all the rest of it, if you're worried about that, don't get married. Don't get married. Don't get legally married. Don't get married at all. Just go out here and be a player, whatever. Go out here, do you. Just don't get married. That's my take on it. So you're going to hear, if for those of you who are going to be around tonight, part 2 will be on Black Man Unfiltered Network, Unapologetic with Mandrill and Shushu. Dusto and I are going to be over there with Shushu, and we're going to continue this conversation. I'm sure there'll be more people on the panel. I'm going to get my stats right, and I'm going to get in there. And again, I'm with Mandrell. Young folks aren't raised right. We're not training them up right. We're not getting them prepared for life. They're going out there thinking everything is lollipops and candy canes. They're going out there thinking Disney fairy tale is the way. And you get into a relationship, you find out real quick, it ain't all lollipops and candy canes. It's hard. Every relationship, be it a personal relationship, a romantic relationship, a business relationship, a work relationship, it doesn't matter. It takes work. It takes work to be successful. It takes work, period. It takes compromise. That love is going to wear off. So it's not going to be that puppy love feeling the whole time, y'all, period. So just keep that in mind. Never forget that. This was a good talk. I'm glad y'all came through. Thanks for supporting me. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, y'all, next month, the FAA is hiring air traffic controllers. 31 and under, no experience necessary, no college degrees or credentials required. They pay for the training. All you need is a high school diploma. Check out the show yesterday and learn how to apply. It's Jay Swans and I brought Jay Swans out of the woods. He came out to talk about this with a very detailed show. It tells you how to do it, walks you through it. Please take advantage of that. It will change your life. And if you're over 31, give that video to someone, send that video to someone that can take advantage of this opportunity and get them in there. It will change their lives. All right, I'm done. This was a good time. Miss AKA Lady, have fun tonight, y'all. We're going to have fun. I hope you can make it over there. We might even see Miss Globe Girl over there on Black Man Unfiltered Network. It's going to get hot and heavy over there. I guarantee you that. It's going to be this. Get some, baby. It's going to be this. It always is. They have a lot of people who are very pro-marriage over there, but they're also very pro-religious. So I think those people who understand that religion and they have that closely held belief, I think maybe they are in that 50% who do better. But I do know a lot of religious people who got divorced. There is almost always money involved. Someone's going to walk away mad. I honestly believe it's too easy to get married today and it's too easy to get divorced. Maybe we should do something to switch it up to and including just saying, hey, no more legal marriages. You can just do what you're going to do. Because there's no real reason to have the state involved. So what? You can file joint. Most successful married people I know, they file married but separate anyway. So they don't even take advantage of the tax benefit. So it is what it is. Miss AKA Lady, where's Miss Globe Girl? I keep missing her. Well, she wasn't here tonight, but maybe she'll be on Black Man Unfiltered. Sometimes she'll be on Overwatch. Sometimes she just be listening. She don't even jump in the chat. But it's all good. Thank y'all so much for coming. This was a good time. Y'all know what it is. I'm DL Saint. This is the DL Saint I Really Want to Know podcast. I am going to holler at y'all later. Peace.
Darn, that's the end.